Hey there, Regina Anley here, and it is time for Tips and Tricks Tuesday. This week we are talking about breakthrough approaches. What does that even mean? A breakthrough approach means doing something completely different. Talk about the unicorn, right? Doing something completely off the wall and different that people don't expect. We see stuff out here on the internet all the time, and you know, it starts looking so repetitive. We get used to seeing what we're seeing and we completely start ignoring things. Well, you don't want your stuff ignored, right? So I have some tips for you today, some three breakthrough content tips on how to do something just a little bit different that you might want to try out to see if it engages your audience more, right? So the first one is to create teach and reflect short videos, right? Now, you might create reels, you might create stories, and they probably have something that you're teaching or some great information, and I'm sure they're fabulous. A teach and reflect is a little mixed up on it because instead of just teaching something, you teach something and then you mix in like a personal reflection. You share what made whatever it is you're teaching click for you. So if it's something that you implemented and that you're now teaching, teach it and then let them know how it affected you. It's in that story that people connect. So sure, people want to learn stuff and whatever the topic is might be of interest. But when they hear that story of how it worked for you, how you implemented it, how it affected your business, whatever it is, now all of a sudden they're like, wow, I wonder if it can do that for me too. You hit a different emotional bucket. So those teach and reflect short videos can actually go a long way. And frankly, I don't see too many of them out there. So, it might even be something like, um, you could use a client story, so you can say, hey, this came up with a client yesterday, and but what they were talking about I had struggled with for years. So I used to think that setting boundaries would make people upset, but here's what I learned. And you go on from there, so it makes it human. It's human, in that human moment really touches home for people. So the teaching part actually will be remembered better because you put the story, you attach the story to it. And it also helps people feel like you like actually get them. The second thing is to to use like swipe files or screenshots from real life, right? So instead of just taking something and writing it from scratch, you can like share a behind the scenes glimpse from your actual business day. So what do I mean? It's like maybe you're just like holding up a holding up a sticky note that has a great idea on it or something like that. A screenshot of maybe you and your client with of course with their permission having a conversation where you're helping them out. Maybe they're having that aha moment and you do a screenshot while they're having that aha moment and you share that. Or maybe you pull out, your calendar or a journal entry from the day from when you had a breakthrough and you share that with your audience. It's something a little bit different. You've got all these emails, you might have some swipe files going on. Keep all this stuff. You have all this content right at your fingertips because you've been doing this for a while. So you have stuff that you've used, you have stuff that you like, you have stuff with your clients, you have all these things. Don't underestimate the power of using that stuff in your content because it does make you stand out. And then the last one is a little bit risque and a little bit bold, but you can do like a like a live like mini audit, or if you ever seen those roasts when they roast somebody. So but you're roasting them gently with love, right? And instead of, if you'll pick something that your audience is struggling with, right? Like maybe they have boring bios, or maybe their calls to action are really confusing, or maybe their niche is really vague and they haven't nailed it down yet. And then gently point out what's not working. Tell them why it's wrong. Point out the problems with it. Yeah, it's kind of poking at the pain. And then give them a better example. So, like for the bio thing, you could say something like, I see a lot of coaches using bios like, I help people live their best lives. And while that's nice, it doesn't really tell me anything. It doesn't tell me what you do. So you can upgrade that and show them how you can say, I help coaches package and sell their offer in the first 90 days. And boom, now you're doing something that, that works better. That now I know who you are and who you help. If you're a life coach, it's I help people effectively create more calm in their lives. So anybody who's totally stressed out, now they're like, oh, I need you, right? So you can point out that kind of stuff in a nice way, and you're starting it with that, calling them out basically. So you call out the struggle that people generally have. So you pick one of those. So you can poll your audience and say, what's your biggest struggle right now? And whatever the biggest struggle is, call that one out and fix it for them. It really helps them connect and helps them understand. So those are the 3 tips. It is teach and reflect. Use those screenshots or swipe files, the information that you already have to go out there, or do those like little mini audits slash roasts with love. So your challenge this week is to pick one of these and try it out before Friday and see how it feels, and post and let me know how it worked out for you. So that's it for today's tips and tricks. Keep breaking that mold, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.